Hello there, I am Ismail from Pearl Lemon, and today we are going to be looking at what if the best SEO move you can make is to stop publishing content. The SEO industry has one default answer to almost every problem. Publish more content, more articles, more pages, more blog posts, more volume. And for years, that advice had enough truth in it to survive. But there's a growing category of websites quietly doing the opposite, publishing less, deleting old content, and refusing to chase volume, and outranking sites with 10 times more pages. Today, we are getting into why and what it tells us about where SEO is actually heading. Most people have never heard of crawl budget. Here's the simple version. Google doesn't crawl every page of your website every time it visits. It allocates a certain amount of attention to your site based on how authoritative and useful it considers you to be. And if you have 500 pages and most of them are thin, outdated, or barely visited, Google spends its crawl budget wading through mediocrity before it reaches your best work. The result? Your strongest pages get crawled and updated less frequently than they should. A smaller site with 50 genuinely excellent pages gets more focused crawl attention per page. And focused attention means faster indexing and more accurate ranking and overall better performance. Weak pages drag strong pages down with them. This is the one that surprises the most people. Google doesn't just evaluate pages individually. It forms an overall impression of your site's quality based on everything it can see. If a significant portion of your content is thin, irrelevant, or poorly performing, that drags down the perceived quality of your entire domain. Not dramatically, not overnight, but consistently over time, your weaker pages are quietly making your stronger pages work harder to maintain their rankings. Some of the most dramatic SEO recoveries in recent years came from businesses that didn't build anything new. They simply deleted or consolidated the content that was quietly poisoning everything around it. The next point here is that the sites winning on quality alone are almost impossible to displace. Here's what makes this strategy genuinely powerful. When you commit to only publishing content that is comprehensively better than anything else ranking for that keyword, you build something that's very hard to knock off its position. Volume-based content strategies are vulnerable because the approach is easy to replicate and easy to outspend. Someone with a bigger budget can always publish more, but a site with 20 definitive pieces of content, properly researched, genuinely useful, and regularly updated, creates a different kind of authority. One that takes years to build and is almost impossible to replicate quickly. The moat isn't volume, the moat is the depth of your content. Less content forces better decisions about what actually matters. There's a strategic benefit to publishing less that has nothing to do with algorithms. When you can't publish everything, you have to choose. And choosing forces the question most content strategies never properly answer. What does our audience actually need from us? Not what keywords have search volume, not what competitors are covering, not what's easy to write about. What genuinely serves the person we are trying to reach? Businesses that answer that question honestly and build content around the answer tend to produce fewer pages that perform far better because they stopped filling a content calendar and started solving real problems. So now, should you actually publish less? Not necessarily less from the start, but almost certainly less than you are publishing now if you've been following a volume-first strategy for any length of time. Here's how to begin. You go into Search Console and look at your pages sorted by impressions. Find everything fewer than 10 impressions a month. Ask yourself honestly, does this page serve a real purpose? Is it genuinely useful? Would a potential customer be better off having read it? If the answer is no, consolidate it into something stronger. Redirect it to a relevant page or remove it entirely. Then look at your publishing schedule and ask yourself whether every piece you are planning to write genuinely deserves to exist or whether it's just filling a slot. The businesses winning with less content didn't stumble into minimalism. They just made a deliberate decision to stop competing on volume and start competing on value. And Google slowly, imperfectly, but consistently is rewarding that decision more with every update. Now, the content treadmill feels less productive, but publishing less, better, more deliberately is one of the most underrated competitive advantages in SEO right now. If you found this content to be useful, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.